All right, lads. So there's a reason that all three are here together. So can you explain a bit about what you do? Like, what's your shared mission and why are we all here together today?
Well, we were all came from the same mother.
Yeah.
we were brothers, but we don't look alike.
Yeah.
That's it. Brothers, mothers.
We're all part of the Yawlag Collective, so we're a DJ producer collective based in Galway here, and the three of us are members of the collective, and we've been doing that now for about a year and a half, and we've hosted gigs in Galway, parties around the country, and we've kind of been driving it on and creating a space for people to, come through the scene, learn how to DJ.
Nice, man. And where's Yawlag from? Where's that?
Yawlag is Galway backwards, so
Is it? Yeah. What the hell?
That's not very obvious, though.
It's not obvious.
well,
Man, it's not for me. No,
Not
I looked
until
at it. I
you
was
hear
like,
it
what?
first.
Yeah, well, if you look in the mirror, isn't that right? When
Look in the mirror,
You look
yeah.
in the mirror and you see.
See, it's on the chest there. You can see it crystal clear.
What would you say differentiates Yawlag from other collectives? What's your unique factor, let's say? Is there something...
I think it's
particular?
like there's it's kind of a mixed bunch of personalities that's in it, and it's huge. Like there's 8 people in the collective, like, so 8 DJs, so there's like a lot of different people coming together, and that mix of talents and skills really adds into like the shows and the productions that we put on. So there's some people that are interested in like lighting and design, and then there's a common theme of everybody's into playing tunes and throwing on good parties. So like when we come together, there's this Yawlag magic that's like just a little bit different to like other parties we've been to.
And I think the big thing about it is like we all care a lot about the party rather than like ticket sales, money, all the rest of it. We just want it to A, for the music to be good, B, for everyone to be, have a good time and be safe is a big important one. And then just like for people to have another group of friends or like meet new people, or people who are afraid to, maybe a nightclub might be too much or too intense, a small little gathering or something like the mixed meetups. It's a great way for people to interact and kind of get to know each other.
Yeah.
For sure. It was really kind of like what Mitch was saying. It was a love of the tunes and the craic that was the genesis of Yawlag in the first place. We were all playing at a festival called Éalú Le Grá, and like just really connected at it, really, very, very much everyone kind of on a very high vibrational buzz, like like everything coming from a place of love, and it having a profound effect on all of us, and for some of us even meeting there for the first time. And then it finished, and we were like, "Oh, geez, that was class!" Like we don't have to wait
Got the
another.
bug then, didn't you?
We got the bug.
Yeah.
We have to wait another year for this, do we? So we got together and we're like, how can we keep that kind of a buzz going throughout the year, running our own events, kind of curating it in the way that we would want to see nights out in Galway.
So Éalú Le Grá was kind of the foundation of it then, where you all met, let's say.
For sure.
So what has that done for yourselves, like in your own career and stuff? What has that meant to you? And can you explain a bit about what it is also for people who don't know?
So Éalú Le Grá it's a festival that was started up by basically a bunch of Galway heads who went to Burning Man enough times to realize, hey, there's something to this,
Burning Man in Vegas,
Burning Man in Nevada.
Nevada.
Not too
Is
far.
that where it is?
Just over the
Am I totally wrong there? saying
Black Rock
Vegas?
City.
It's close enough. Like
It's close enough to Nevada. It's about like, I think it's like an hour or two from Nevada.
I've heard people hop in cars from Vegas and they drive from Vegas to there.
Yes,
Yeah.
take a few hours to get there.
Right.
Some people drive from San Francisco, like
That's a wild.
They're just going for
Tents
it.
in the thing and ready to go. Like,
Out to
in
the
the
sand
desert.
for the wild.
Yeah, I went there in 2017. It's a mad old spot.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, and I was out there with some of the guys that had created Éalú as well. So
Right.
like I got the whole vision of what it is.
How long was it again?
It's a week.
It's a 1 week festival, yeah?
1 week.
So
in
you're
the
out there
desert.
on your own in the desert for 1 week.
Yeah, well, we were there with like 80,000 other people. Like.
I hear that people actually like steal, and like you can rob off people like toilet paper and stuff like that. That's what I heard. It's like
more
every
of a
man for
barter.
himself.
It's more of a
Yeah,
barter
you
system.
say you're a bartering system. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so one of the main principles is decommodification. So there's no money out there. So you go to any of the bars there, you ask for a beer, they just give you a beer.
Yeah.
No
like
way.
the cash is removed from the equation
How
entirely.
can
Couldn't find that in Galway City
and,
now.
and
No.
that's backed up massively by another principle, which is gifting. So like people will just give stuff away and then receive loads of stuff in return. So it's almost kind of like a utopian notion where You know, it's a society that's just evolved past the need for something like money.
It's like going back to the original days of like humankind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Starting off again, wild.
Well, it's
Wait.
go on. Sorry.
When you're out there, it's actually mind blowing. It takes you a couple of days to adjust to how like
Yeah.
everybody's so sound with the like they're all bought into the gifting mentality, and like it takes a while to adjust that because like everything in the real world is so commercial. Like, you know, if I want you to do a job for me, like straight away, it's like, how much is that going to be, you know? Whereas out there, it's just like everything's free.
And it's super hard to get the tickets as well. It's very exclusive, isn't it? How did you get tickets to go?
Yeah, you have to sign up for a raffle, and then you have to just be online, and if you get at the right time, you can get a ticket. Or if you're working through one of the camps, you have access to a ticket. So a lot of the ethos of like Burning Man is like tied back into Éalú Le Grá. Obviously, Éalú Le Grá, there's stalls out there, and there's people getting paid and whatever to work there. But it has that ethos of like a real solid core of community, leave no trace, you know, and that's kind of where we all connected together. And a lot of them I'd say like Yawlag is like a child of Éalú kind of, and now we're kind of grown up to be our own person. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
we're hitting puberty right around the right time. We're coming up, as they say.
Exactly. And that's what this summer is going to be.
Yeah, for sure. Like going, let's say, like I came into the Yawlag story a little bit later than the lads, and even when I jumped on board, well, invited into the collective, it was already going. Like they had the mixed meetups. It was like the lads were saying, it was like an incubator to the next Éalú to keep the vibe going and the parties going. So it's just gone from strength to literally strength to literally strength, and it's gotten bigger and badder and bolder. As we've gone on, like, you know, we're residencies up in Cuba, like electric, and playing all the festivals all together. Like so many things. We're going down to Cork. There's just so much going on. All from the humble beginnings of like just meeting at a festival and just being like, we should do this. And now we're not just sitting around the couch being like, man, it'd be so crazy to do this. We're actually doing it. Do you know what I mean? So it's a pleasure to be a part of. But it all stems from the Éalú kind of boys and the vibe there.
Yeah. Nice. With having like such a big crew in Yawlag, obviously you get the benefit of having a lot of people working on the same thing and doing different tasks and stuff like that. But is there ever any conflicts in terms of like the direction you want to go with Yawlag, and you know, for any particular event or what?
And Laura as well, a woman. But yeah, well, as I said, I'm only new into it. But there's like with any company or with any event kind of promotion, there's 9 different walks of life kind of trying to come to an agreement.
Yeah.
Pretty much like the music goes without saying, kind of the look and the vibe comes without saying. But I think there's going to be little things that always kind of like we bump heads on. Yeah. Not often or a lot or anything, but yeah, like you two boys, you might go, I don't know.
We're kicking off every night.
Yeah.
And it's just about talking.
I think what's key is we've reached a point where we've all gotten quite good at communicating with each other. You know, like, and there's there remains a nice easy flow, and it's a space where anyone can bring any ideas up, and it'll be discussed. Everything will be heard, and everyone will have their own kind of unique take on something, or their own, you know, flavor of magic to sprinkle into the mix, and that's kind of what makes it
multiple inputs.
Yeah, it's the recipe. The recipe is fantastic.
That's the secret sauce.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's true. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut over you there,
but yeah, it's been a pretty harmonious flow.
That's good.
Good stuff.
And Dara, I think if I'm not mistaken, you're responsible for like maybe curating the look of the event and like the vibe and how it looks like, you know, in terms of the decor and stuff like that. So like, how important is that, would you say, in terms of the event outside of music, you know, how it looks?
Massively. Obviously, you know, you got to make sure that the tunes are right. But I feel like, you know, anyone who doesn't have experience with decor will walk into a place and say, yeah, it was good, but you know, there was something missing, and they won't put their finger on it. Whereas when they go in and the lighting's right, the decor's right, all of these other bits come together, it'll just elevate the experience far beyond, you know, what's already great music. But it adds to the vibe so much. And we've been investing more and more in the lighting side. We got some fancy tubes there only a week or two ago, which we've enjoyed kind of syncing up with each other and getting our own kind of patterns going. I have a few different wall hangings that are UV reactive to kind of put around the place. And we've also started making our own kind of visuals, which are It's a compilation of drone shots and time lapses of Galway that we then overlay with these like trippy little kind of animated
Wow.
characters and
Yeah,
things
That's cool.
they're
Wow,
class.
to
that's
have on a
insane.
projector.
And
Just
who
On
makes them for
projector.
you?
I make those.
You make them.
Yeah.
Cool.
On a projector kind of a thing, is it?
Yeah, so like, you know, Drew set up a whole kind of storyboard as he was just explaining, but it's obviously goes into a projector and goes right onto the big screen, and it makes sense because, well, it's Galway backwards, so it may as well be Galway.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, you know, there is geometrical shapes and stuff, like you can get the visuals like that and they're really cool and they look good,
Yeah.
but like, you know, we want to tie it all the way
Mm.
back to Galway all the time.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then like Emmett as well, like he does all the production and stage production and stuff like that. So like that's something that like I that's not my forte. But between the two guys here, like the place you walk in, it's like whoa, and I really think that separates our nights from other nights because we've actually, not that we're doing research, but we've gone in and kind of looked around and go, yeah, I think seeing how that night went and our night, we could change that and put this here. And you know, you're always chatting about it, and each time, like you were saying, with each pod it gets
Yeah.
better, with each event it gets so much better, you know what I mean?
Always growing, man.
Yeah.
That's it. Learning,
it's-
learning on the job as well is everything. Superb.
Yeah.
The only way to learn.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like we know how difficult it is to make money from these kind of events, especially when you're dealing with small venues and you know you can only have 200, 300 people in the venue and stuff like that. So like, what is it that drives you to give so much of your time to the collective? Because it's easy maybe to start something, but then to continue it for multiple years, you need to have something that really drives you. What is that?
No, more than yourselves. I think it's the scene, is like building the scene up in the culture of Galway. Like,
Yeah.
because that's what Éalú has done. Like, we're all like combining together over the last 3 years, like making this festival, like getting it off the ground. But now we can see that as a magnet for our peers. There's a lot more people moving to Galway, a lot of creative heads that want to be involved in the year-round culture of Galway rather than just like dropping in for like 2 weeks for the festival and the build and whatever. So I think we're all driven towards, like, you know, rising the vibration in the culture and in the scene, in the electronic music scene here in Galway, throwing on more parties. Like we're just as horny for throwing gigs in like electric and Cuba as we are just like doing our street bus, which is something that we've done recently. We have a battery pack, we bring our decks, we land the speakers in random places in the city, and we just start DJing on the street, and that's gone phenomenally well. Like, we've had guards just like walking by us, just leaving us, because we're not taking the piss. We're just playing house and disco. We're having a vibe. People are buying into it. People are coming for drinks. Some people are just stopping, having a coffee, like
Listening. That's
yeah.
it.
So we
Take it.
want to
It's
do
not
more of
necessarily
that,
one
like
drink,
to really
like,
bring
that's
the
it.
like electronic music onto the street and showcase that and make that like available for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's been going very well, like, you know.
Mitch was saying earlier that you do some raves as well. I didn't know about that, but you do. How has that been going? What's
Yeah, we've done like a couple of raves over the last like year and a bit. Yeah, one every while. We're doing another one this weekend in a secret location.
Can't disclose. Yeah. Say nothing. That's it.
You have to join our community group on WhatsApp if you want to get the info on them ones. But yeah, the raves have been going great. Like, we look after the place. We leave no trace. Similar, it's a Burning Man ethic as well. So we clean up. We bring bin bags down. We make sure the place is looking neat after we have a party. And I think, like, if you respect the space, like, and you don't go blaring hardcore techno, like, you generally the guards don't mind it, like, so there's a lot of learning there, like.
It's quite a mature approach to like raving, as they say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just like 500 lads on the middle of the field off their bin, tops off, like it's like everyone's like there to have a good time, and it's nice and chill, because it's like in the WhatsApp community kind of thing, that everybody knows each other and they're all friends, and you know, it may go to the wee hours or it may stop whenever like it decides, and there's a respect there of the land, and obviously the no trace. And just to back up what Emmett's saying there, but
And it is a community effort.
For sure,
which
yeah,
is wonderful,
yeah.
because then everyone there kind of by taking a little bit of responsibility in that, everyone seems to enjoy it a lot more, because you're invested in it. Then you know you're
sure.
putting a little bit of your energy into it, to helping to make it happen, and it feels like it's a part of something bigger than just, you know, cans in a field, which is great. But when there's a sense of like, oh, this is a place for us all to come together and to have the crack, and that's why we want to keep up the free parties buzz, because, you know, ultimately that's where the passion and the labor of love makes sense, where it's like there's no one making any
Yeah,
money
you-
off
you
it.
see
Yeah,
It's
surprise.
just getting back to what
just
So
you
for
many
the
people
love
need
of it.
that.
Good question.
So many people need that. You know, in Galway especially. Everyone's
Well,
looking
it's
for
like
that.
all an outlet for us as well, because like, you know, I'd play in your toilet, like it doesn't matter. Like, I'd play
Yeah, no, I get it, though.
anywhere,
He's
like
right.
literally anywhere, because we all love it that much. So be it a field, be it a club, be it a venue, be it here, be it on the rooftop in the porter shed here at some stage. But you know, just like I think that's why we want to give so much time to it. And then like, you know, all the DJs get paid, our guest gets paid, the people on the door get paid, the bouncers get paid, the venue gets paid, everybody gets paid. Do you know what I mean? In a way, but that's not what it's about. It's about like bringing people together under the like-minded, like everybody loves music, everyone loves a good time, everyone loves the groove. That's the
Yeah.
buzz. Like that's literally what it's about.
How would you categorize your community now, the Yawlag community, in terms of like who would be your regular event goers? You mentioned that it's not the students, so who is it?
It's a good mix, like from what I've seen, even from the start when I wasn't involved, the people that were at those first few mixed meetups are like involved in some way or do something in some form or shape now. They tell their friends, then obviously people from Éalú, people from who've seen us in different venues in Monroe's and all these kind of pop-up parties and stuff that we've done. So the clientele is big, but on Paddy's Day was a real big mixed bag, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now that we're in Cuba and that's kind of a regular nightclub venue where people
our
are going
home, yeah.
for
Is that a
tunes.
residency in
Yeah,
Cuba?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
So like we'd have a
amazing.
mixed bag there. We'd have like just people that are in for the weekend. You know, they might come down for Dublin. They just want to go to a nightclub. They're up. They have a good time. Like they get brought into the kind of like the DJ collective. They know about it more. They might follow us on Instagram, and then we'd have our regulars as well. That are people that we call them the Yawloggers. Like so, they'd just be like dedicated.
Diehards.
They just come like there's people
Really,
traveling
like a cult
down.
following there.
Well, yeah,
we're-
no,
but
we're
like,
that far.
Not
but
in
yeah.
cult
what you
following,
mean,
but
though.
we're gaining like
They love
solid
they love the
dancers.
music, like
Right.
they love what we're about.
Huge
you know?
fans. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Amazing,
So
man.
I suppose that probably gives you a lot of confidence now that you have a built-up following in terms of when you're putting on an event, you probably know that it's going to do fairly well.
Well, never say never. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like sometimes, you could have the biggest act in the world. I know from doing it myself previous to y'all like that. Like you get the big name in, and you get the good date and everything, and it might just fall on its face. And you know that's where there's big learning curves in that. But thank God we've been really successful since we started doing them. That the people who come to the first one come to the second one. They tell their friend. They tell their, and it's multiplying by 4, 5, 6 each time. So we're kind of lucky in that sense. But yeah, never say never.
Because there's 8 people in the collective, everybody's like hungry to cover ground. So it's like we're really spreading our wings. Like let's say if you have a collective with like 2 or 3 people in it and they're the main organizers, there's only so much work then people can do, or so many like DMs like, can we play in this place, can we play here?
Yeah.
Whereas like all of us are like our schedule for the summer, like if you've seen the amount of dates we have, and like it's ridiculous. Like we're playing every weekend probably this summer in different places, like, and there's just like there's gigs like coming up in the Wigwam Pavilion in Cork, there's raves in Cork, there's people inviting us down. There's so many people that want to get onto us because we're just covering so much ground. And we'll play anywhere, literally. Like we're not biased or anything.
We bring everything. We're like, we bring the lads are unreal at setting up the stage side of things. We bring the party to wherever you want or wherever we are. Obviously, like, you know, within that's tough to do. There's a lot of logistics to get to the place and make sure all the signs and the barriers and the lights and the this and that are all in the van to go down. But that's what we're about, going in and just like changing spaces. Like we played an electric was it last weekend, the weekend before, and like electric looks fantastic. The woodshed is class. Like they did a really good job since they opened it up. We came in with our sign, the drapery, a few of the new lights that came, and it was like a completely different space, like, you know. And I think that really adds to us going into different spots. Like we're going to do a couple of festival takeovers, like, and we're going to bring the production to the stages at the festival. Now, festival stages have their own production. There's a guy running around with a headphone going, "Oh, the lights are this, that, and the other," you know. And there's all sound engineers, but we want to put our own swing on it, like, so people know that we're in town. Like, you know, like as you say, everyone knows when the Rolling Stones is in town. Like we want to know that. We want people to know that we're in town.
Your identity, that's it.
Well, like, that's
You
what
gotta
we're
keep
doing.
that going.
I'm bringing a taste of Galway to other parts.
Exactly.
Like we were in Rotterdam. We went over to did a gig in Rotterdam. Like, you know, so we're spreading around. We want to do more like European gigs as well, where we go to a place, we'll play a gig tying in with a collective, but we'll also bring our street bus gear on the Ryanair flight, and we literally just go into the city. We'll see where people are drinking in the park. We're going to set up. We'll whip out all our gear and we'll just start playing. So we don't need a venue. And then like with that, you're making more connections. You know yourself when you're out drinking on the street in a foreign country, like, you know, within half an hour, like everybody around you is mates and you're exchanging details. Like, where are we going next? You know, that kind of crack. So that's like the way we see that we'll be traveling by doing like street busks and then tying in with other collectives and stuff. So like allowing us to do like kind of like holidays that are like DJing holidays basically, like, and then eventually we'll be getting paid for that because like our brand will be getting bigger, like.
But that's, you were saying like who's your clientele and that kind of stuff. That ties into perfectly how we got to Rotterdam. Like Joshua came to a Celtic Chaos party, that's the on the ground Irish party for Burning Man. But then he came to our Paddy's Day party, and Emmett was they were burning the ear off each other, having a great time, and then out of that came our Yawlag school tour to Rotterdam, which was unreal, like, you know. So like just bits and bobs like that. You never know what's around the corner when you meet the right people. We were saying earlier on that like you're playing at a festival, you don't know who's watching and you don't know where you can go afterwards. So we're pretty much like on that buzz for every gig, you know.
I think that speaks to the importance of, you know, gatherings and collectives like ourselves, in terms of like it's okay, it's a good time, it's a party, but it's bringing people together. You know, it's creating the atmosphere, and you know, and the vibe curation plays a part of that. But even just getting all these heads together, making it feel like a safe space where people can, you know, express themselves and relax into it, and actually like truly connect with people that they might never have met before, might never meet again, but then turns out, wait, no, they have exchanged details, and now you're flying over to Rotterdam to do a thing with them, or now you're collaborating on a cool new project. And it's really beautiful to see how these things just kind of spark off really organically, and that's the magic of what we hope happens at our gatherings, is that it is just connecting people together.
Is it a competitive market? I know people are quite friendly to collab and whatnot, and venues are quite open as well to let you in, but if there's a new collective starting up, like, what are the barriers to entry for them, let's say?
I personally think, speaking from personal experience, before I joined the collective and before, let's say, COVID, it was very like every man for himself. People were like, oh, we should do this, and they never do it. And it was like, you know, you're a one-man show. Well, I was anyway. And then it was like, oh, you don't want to undercut this guy because then he'll get mad, then you won't get booked there, but if you play with him, then you won't get here. And it was like a fucking game of chess. It really was, like, and like that's not a joke, like, and as open and as loving and, you know, friendly as Galway is, underneath it all there was that always like watch your back, or, you know, make sure you do a good job, which keeps you on your toes. But I think after COVID and the birth of all these collectives popping up, now everyone's like, what are you doing? Let's do this. How about, look, we've got a space here. Let's do all that. Like, even how this came about, I just like, here, what, do you want to do this? And it's a win-win for everybody. So like, I think that's very crucial in the communities and the collectives now.
And do you think there's like a massive rise in collectives since we came out of COVID?
Well, I think it's a lot of people doing DIY shit because they want to fucking get going themselves. And they don't want to have to be picked in a nightclub to play or in a bar to play. They want to do it themselves. They've done the bedroom DJ during COVID, and now they're ready and they're out, like, you know what I mean? 3 years to be practicing inside during lockdown, all that kind of stuff is a lot. Like, that is a long time to practice, like, you know what I mean? Other people learn on the fly, other people learn on the go, they get better as they go along. But like, a lot of people came out of COVID, like, I wouldn't say fully fledged, because like you're learning every day, but like everyone was raring to go, and there was no nightclubs, so that's why we did pop-up parties in the Arsenal Gale and all these different places to foster that, especially with the lads and all of us together. Everyone was just chomping at the bit to get going. So I think that in different collectives is the way the people were thinking about it. Like, let's just fucking do our own thing, man. Like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we had Two's Collective on earlier, and that's actually the reason that they started, is because, you know, it'd make it easier for them to get gigs and whatnot. So they just did
they're
their own.
buzzing.
And there was no nightclubs at the time, because there was no nightclubs apart from DNA in Galway. So like the DIY parties had to be like, if you're going to go into Cooks, like Cooks, it's not a nightclub, like, or whatever, but that was like Galway's premier venue for a while.
It's real
like
punk, like.
So it's like you have to go in with some sort of brand and say, here, this is who we are.
And
like like please come to our gig because this is what we represent. This is the tunes they're playing. So like each one of them brands was like the start of a collective. And now it's great that the guys in Electric are kind of the people that have shown up and kept the scene alive over the last few years, that they're given an opportunity to play out in a solid club. So it's great to have the venues back. But yeah, for us anyway, like we see opportunity in that, but we see so much opportunity in like what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because we're doing it to a quality level. Like, you know, we're throwing raves to a quality level. We're going to Europe, like we're doing it on a solid level. Like our branding, everything. Like it's just like
we care about what the message that we're sending across. Sorry, not to cut across.
Yeah,
for sure.
I want to ask a question about the WhatsApp group. How does that work with your WhatsApp group?
Not telling
you. So, is that pure? Is that pure?
I'm only joking.
I'm overstaying.
So first of all, once we're finished, I'll get your numbers and I'll add you to it.
Yes.
Because that's the idea. So we have.
I'd like to see that.
We have we have a social media presence, and that's great. You know, we keep it tipping over. It's great for, you know, whenever we have like, you know, official gigs and everything, we can communicate that out. We can do all the social media necessary evils. But then we also have our own community WhatsApp group. Like we have one for the Yawlag DJs and committee members for organizing stuff, and then we have a wider one now that we only started up a couple of weeks ago, and we've got like 140 members or something in it, which was basically all of us just adding all of the heads we know who come to the events, who have expressed an interest in Yawlag, and they've been adding
what you're doing,
and they've been adding their friends.
So on. I hear what you're saying.
And the idea is it's somewhere that we can actually actively engage with the community, and we can thank them for coming out and supporting us when we had a really big day of gigs.
On like a frequent basis and kind of stuff like that, or is it kind of when an event
bits.
pops up?
Yeah. Like for example, we're doing this beach rave now on Saturday, so we'll only be posting the information for that through this group. You know, and it's not that we're gatekeeping. Anyone who really wants to be in the group can be in the group. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no like don't look over the wall. Like everyone's invited.
If you've a mate that you think would benefit from this flaming well, bring him along. You know,
it's just so we can keep an eye on things and it doesn't go really fucking AWOL and like
super organized.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
super organized. You can see who's coming,
and it's strictly like only Yawlag information. Like so, like you know, if we don't allow like people promote other gigs because like we want to keep the WhatsApp group like fresh. So when something pops up on it, it's like okay, the lads are doing something.
Yeah, we've all been in hundreds of WhatsApp groups where it's like, oh, here we go, another fucking tutorial.
Full Fine Gael, like you're like, I just want to party, like
where's the booch? Like?
So what have been some of the most challenging times in Yawlag? Is there anything worth speaking about? Like, you know, maybe at an event or something that didn't go to plan?
Ooh, that's a juicy question.
How deep do you want to go?
Challenging times. I think just getting it over the line for the first one. You know what I mean?
The first entry.
I think so. Yeah, for the first big ones in any new venue that we approach, because it's important to get it over the line. But I wouldn't say challenging mightn't be the word, but just making sure it all runs nice and smooth.
A bit of a nervy period there.
There's the pre-game jitters kind of might be the worst of it. I feel.
Or when you've got an event, you haven't sold out in advance, you don't know, are we going to lose our shirt on this? Is this going to be okay? You know, we've all put time and effort into it. You know, we all just want it to go well, and you're hoping for the best, you're preparing for the worst, but then of course it all works out, and turns out there's a huge bunch of heads who you hadn't expected, and they turn up, and you know we've always managed to get it over the line, and it's always been worth it. So I think it's been a case of learning to trust the process a lot more now, which is getting easier the more we do it.
Yeah.
How did you? Sorry, go on.
No, you fire away.
Okay.
Please. It's your show, like. You know?
Thank you. How did you all get into DJing, and why DJing over other forms of music? Like, did any of you play other instruments? And
I started out playing guitar when I was younger. My confirmation money, I bought myself a guitar.
Right.
And my brother was a drummer, so like. And like my parents are massively into music on both sides. My grandmother was a piano teacher, so like it's in there somewhere. But I actually took the interest to be like, oh, I want to be, because my older brother was in a band. I want to be the guitarist out of his band. I didn't want to be the drummer.
Yeah.
And then Killian moved into DJing, And then I was like, this is like the fucking coolest thing I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Fuck the guitar, fuck the drums, fuck the drums, fuck it all. I just want to do that. So that was and obviously like listening to music growing up in the house, you know, my parents always had music on. So like it just grew from there, but it was literally trying to like, you know, I kind of like idolized my brother in a way and just wanted to be him. So I did everything. I carried in all the speakers. Carried his CDs in. I was like his little whipping boy for a while. And then that just grew to like actually playing with him and going on that way. But that's how I got into it. But the minute I tasted it, I was like, this is fucking it.
This
Like I
is
was
you.
telling you, I got a normal job, but that didn't work out for me. I just couldn't
Wasn't the one. Yeah.
couldn't not. This is it. You know what I mean? So
And like
that's me anyway.
Emmett and Dara, were you both playing from? Did you both start DJing at a young age too, or is it something you picked up later?
Yeah, well, my dad's a DJ,
Okay.
so yeah, I guess it was in my blood. There was no escaping it, and yeah, I guess I would have started from the age of 14, but not mixing or doing the cool tricks or effects. Literally just like picking songs and like fading one down, fading the other one up, and would have done that on and off for maybe 10 years. In various capacities, and then stopped for years and years and years. And I was one of those heads who during COVID was like, you know, I'd like to get back into this and actually learn it properly. Got myself a Pioneer controller, and you know, it absolutely sucked me in then. And it's just been it's been a roller coaster since.
Wow.
And you let's touch on your travels a bit if you want to have a chat about it.
Go for it.
So I think you spent a few years traveling the world.
That's right.
What period was that? What years?
So 2015, I moved to Madrid,
Okay.
and I lived there for a while. Then I did a bit of traveling around South America, and then I moved back home, and that was it was nice. It was cool. I was doing the remote working and kind of traveling around a few different spots. Then I was like, hey, I'll try Asia out. So I decided to go over to Hanoi in Vietnam for 2 months, and I stayed for 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, just
3
like
years later, yeah.
3 years. It's like, you know, like the
Wow.
fella who went out to the shops to get milk and like,
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
just like swept away.
Like a lot of young people will want to do exactly what you did. You know, spend 5 years traveling. Would you say it was a good experience? Is it something you do again?
Oh my god, yeah, 100%. It's essential. I have never loved Galway as much as since I came back from traveling. Like, you know, I had
You
an
appreciate it. don't you,
yeah,
so much
appreciate
more?
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's like I'm now seeing the Galway that I'd always been looking for, always wanted, but I had to like go to the other side of the world to find it, you know. And I had such an amazing time over there, and it was great. And you know, I found myself and all of that stuff, and I learned so much, and it gave me so much. But then it came to a certain point where it was like, well, this has been class, but you know, I'm away so long now. I'd like to see what the buzz is back home. And I didn't know anyone back home. I didn't know what the crack was. I didn't know that if Galway even had much of an
You've
underground.
been gone for so long.
I've
you
been gone
wouldn't
for so
know.
long, yeah.
and
And
it changed. It would change so much
It
in
does.
5 years.
It does. It changes.
and
massively.
I'd gotten quite involved with Hanoi's underground, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of class." You know, I'd love to see this back home. So I kind of came home with the intention, like, well, if there isn't an underground, I'll just have to fucking start it.
Yeah.
And you know,
Right.
we'll go grassroots. And then I came back, and within a few weeks went to Éalú Le Grá and met all these chaps.
That's
and,
wild.
and
Yeah,
basically,
it's
and I
sick,
realized,
man. That's like
oh
written
wait,
in the
there's a bunch of
stars.
heads who
Oh,
are already
wait,
doing
it's a
this.
mad
So,
story.
Yeah, it's sick. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. This is
So
why
are
I'm
you-
traveling the world of Vietnam.
Are you producing your own music?
yes, I am.
Okay, and do you produce as well, guys, or no?
I'm learning at the moment a bit of
Right.
production, like amongst a mad amount of things, like. But
Yeah,
so I'm learning from Dara and a few other people that are around the town. So there's a lot of production.
What kind of stuff are you
going on.
making?
Oh, a mix of a lot of things. I've been making stuff under my own name, Fluid Druid, but more recently I'm in a live electronic band, and we've our first gig now in a few weeks.
Live performance. Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
That's I mean that's
music's
really
class.
where
That's unreal.
that's what gets me going the most, because I played acoustic stuff before. I played guitar. I was in like an acoustic folk pop duo, and then I was doing the DJing alongside that. I was like, it'd be cool to kind of combine, you know,
Yeah, bring
even
it
though
all in together.
DJing very much is performing as well,
Yeah.
but it'd be cool to bring some live aspects in. So I got into Ableton and MIDI controllers, synthesizers, and it's all just been growing all sorts of arms and legs and tentacles since. And
It's just getting bigger. It never ends, doesn't it?
and it's just
Spaceship.
it's 100%. Yeah, all the bleep bloops there. It's very satisfying. You're just twiddling the knobs and everything.
Yeah.
But like people can see that you're manipulating the music and firing things off live, and you can go any direction that like your imagination wants to with it. So I'm in a band at the moment. We're going to be doing a few of the festivals. We have our first gig in Galway in a few weeks in the Old 25 on May 25th. And we call ourselves the Special K Pirates. And we are...
Tell us about the name.
We want...
We are a buzz, like.
Yeah,
that's
he's looking at me there. He's saying something.
Straight away, we
What's it
want
on?
people to know that we are a high energy, you know, like having the crack, you know, the kind of thing that you want to stumble across at a festival where everyone's just going bananas, you know. So like to kind of go for that, we're exploring a lot of different styles. I've been making some liquid drum and bass, some kind of like journey acid techno. We're bringing in a few other elements like organic trance and a lot of styles that I necessarily wouldn't even have been playing a whole lot as a DJ, but just kind of the energy that we're feeling when we're making them. It's just nice to try different things. There's so many different musical styles out there. Why would you confine yourself to one of them? Doesn't make sense.
For sure.
Okay. What about festivals, guys? Have any of you played at a festival? Apart from Éalú.
We played all together now last year.
We did all together
Wow.
now last year as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was great.
And then on a personal note, I've played at all the Irish festivals over the years. But this year, like, we're all going up to C Sessions this year to do a stage takeover. And that'll be my 10th year actually going up there. So, like, I love it up there. Did Electric Picnic, did Body and Soul, Life, you name it. Done them all, been there, done that. Not saying got the t-shirt, but I've done them all. But I think out of all of them, I prefer the smaller kind of type ones. Hence, C Sessions is
Intimate.
Yeah, would be quite smaller compared to the scale of Electric Picnic, like obviously, because you get to know everyone, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, what's crack, man, and how are you, and what's the story, and how'd you get on last night, and I think that's very much the buzz. But yeah, I played AD in Amsterdam as
That's
well.
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good crack.
I heard that with Éalú this year, I think they had like 400 artists or something who applied to get a slot.
Yeah.
Are any involved with like the decision making in terms of who gets to play?
No,
No,
it'd be the
thank
lads.
God.
No.
Okay.
I'll be part of the media team this year, and
Okay.
I'll be doing because we have the Yawlag radio show on Flirt FM. We'll be kind of joining forces with Flirt FM to do like live shows out there, and myself and Nancy, the collective photographer, we'll be going around interviewing people on the day, and we'll be interviewing the DJs before and they get off the stage, kind of green room kind of vibes.
Class.
So, but apart from that's all down to Burley and Tommy and Dahi, isn't it?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
the
the
bookings
three
and
lads,
stuff.
the three
But
founders.
you can
We're all
see-
doing our own bit in it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm designing one of the stages and building that, so I'm doing production on that, running that team, and then Mitch is doing the radio. We're all performing out there. We're all DJing individually and as
And as the
Yawlag.
collective.
So it's just like, and Dara's doing like
God, so much going on.
65,000
Man, it's
performances out
crazy.
there.
So much
We're
going
He's
like
on.
a
basically
Wu-Tang clan.
performing for the entire weekend.
Yeah.
A few bits here or there.
But like we're all like I got in with the lads like at the very ground level, like, you know, the very Éalú one. So Mitch was there as well. But like we started throwing little raves like straight out of COVID, just as COVID calmed down, and that was kind of the warm up to Éalú. Like Éalú's been talked about, but we started warming up gradually.
They're like
so
the
it's
pilots, kind of.
we've been all involved very much on like the ground, like since the very initiation of it. So it's class to see where it is now. Are you going to go out there?
To Éalú.
Yeah.
I mean, I only heard about it really in the last.
It's only 2
few months.
days since I've heard about it as well.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this is all new
So-
for us totally.
Yeah.
When's it on?
It's on June Bank Holiday.
June Bank
Yeah.
Holiday.
Yeah, it's
And
only
I'll
20
definitely-
minutes
I'll
out the
definitely try
road.
to get out there.
Castle,
100%.
yeah,
I didn't even know there was a festival in
It is.
Galway, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, especially I think it's gonna really influence like the culture of like music in Galway over the next like whatever 5 years. So
Jewel
it'd be
in
a
the
good
West.
place to be.
Really, it's
Truly.
great that it's picking up traction as well. Like in terms of how many people are interested in playing at it.
Well, it showcases DJs, bands,
Yeah, for sure, make an
performers,
appearance. Definitely. I'll go down.
artists. There's a whole wellness side to it as well, the Light Lab and all that kind of
It's
stuff.
like
Yeah.
the body and soul kind of vibe.
So
is it?
it's
Is that-
Yeah.
Close to
You
Yeah.
you could go there and two people could have a completely different weekend. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Which
Yeah.
I think is fantastic. Instead of everyone just like bees to the
main
one
stage
place,
dancing, the
over
main
the-
stage is
over
losing
the
it like
place.
that.
Yeah, exactly. But people
Yeah.
do that as well.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
can kind of make your own kind of what you want out of it, and I think that's the magic of it.
Mm.
That sounds super
And
nice.
what comes out of it then, like this came out of it,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's deadly.
It's like
Yeah.
advertising for it right now.
And
They're
no-
loving this.
No, but like,
Yeah.
of course
the
they're
boys
good.
are at home like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
ticket sales are going up.
Yeah, maybe. 50
But
days.
we're happy to, because that's how this all started. So you give your flowers, you know what I mean, to the people
Yeah.
who start you off.
Yeah,
in a
of
way.
For sure. Let's touch on the mixed meetups then. How did that come about? Can you explain what it is? And
Well,
yeah.
I let the boys run off that.
Yeah, so the mixed meetups was the original idea when we were coming together at Yawlag. I was thinking with the other guys, I was like, we need to have like some sort of social education element to this collective, because like there's like we want to like learn ourselves and like throw on gigs and hopefully make a few quid, buy some nice gear, and keep like grow a big collective, have this experience. But you know, it'd be great to have the social element of giving back. And what better way than like sharing the skills that we have, the varied skills throughout the collective, and teaching people how to DJ. So we started in the Tyvark pretty much a couple of months after our first gig in the Tyvark. We'd have 5 different locations set up, so 5 different types of setups in terms of like DJ rigs, all varied like technologies, and then there'd be a member of the collective at each rig, and they'd have 2 to 3 students there, and they basically run them through how to like beat match, you know, mix tunes, how everything works. And then Dara always gave like a fantastic opening, basically teaching you about like where to download your music, you know,
Wow.
different genres, what's it all
Box,
about.
all the
That's
rest.
amazing. That.
Everything, what they need to get started.
Literally
and everything.
from start to finish. Like, so if you stayed with the program,
Yeah.
you know, our idea is that you'd pop out.
You'd know when you're finished, you're coming out something
Yeah.
special. Like,
We really believe that this is like DJing, like it's for everyone, because anyone
Yeah.
can DJ.
Yeah.
You know, like this whole notion of it, you know, being this elitist kind of a thing, and it's only for like, you know, the chosen few. Bullshit.
Yeah.
If you can count to 4, you can DJ.
You know, 1, 12.
Yeah.
so-
keep
Hasn't
trying.
got
You'll
it.
get
Still
there.
learning.
You'll get
Still
there.
learning.
Yeah, look, we're all still learning in our own ways. You know,
The
but
Grimes effect.
because you know,
yeah, the grind.
yeah, because so many of us kind of, you know, we're only doing what we were doing because somebody somewhere along the line gave us a shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
for
know,
sure.
like we kind of
Yeah.
we want to do that for everyone, and also in this day and age, like it's all about democratizing these technologies and these skill sets, because anyone can really do anything anywhere at any time if they put their energy into it. So we might as well facilitate that and let the cream rise to the top.
What's the kind of age group that you'd be dealing with for that? Like, is it 18, 19-year-olds,
It's
or
been
is
a,
it?
bi- it's
is it
been
a
a
mix?
big mixed bag, like,
Mhm.
hasn't it? Like, well,
Good range.
Yeah, like there's been definitely students, but then there's been, because it's broken up into different like beginner, kind of middle, and
Yeah.
people who've played maybe out before, and people who are like want to learn finesse and tricks.
Yeah.
Like there was a guy there in his 30s, or in his, was he 35 or something, that had played a lot but wanted to know, kind of, to get a good grasp on a few tricks and tips and stuff. And then there was some that had never even seen them. So like there is a
Oh,
good,
it's so good to see a different age
it's a
range.
good arch. Yeah,
superb.
it is. Yeah. And like we're going to be doing them here in the Porter Shed at the start of the next month, the first Wednesday of every month, all the way through. So
Where can people get involved with that? Where
we're
can they
really
find out
excited
about
about that. We're in the middle of like prepping the launch for it.
it? Yes.
Because what the plan is to kind of do is do a bit of a syllabus and kind of tie in. So if you kind of stick with it, you know, like we're talking about getting like yourself going to give some producer kind of classes as well as DJing, and then we might give like some how to approach a venue or how to set up like your own gigs and the stages and stuff like that. So it'll be obviously a crash course on DJing, but we want to tie in production, event management, and kind of a bit of everything kind of tied into it. Now, like that's what's been kicked about, but for sure what will be in it is like DJ mix meetup lessons like we did at the start.
Cool.
That's unbelievable.
You've done a bit of work with on radio as well. You've your own show called, what is it,
Yawlag Radio, yeah,
Yawlag Radio.
on Flirt FM.
So is that something you enjoy, radio?
So for me, that was like a bit of a selfish passion project.
Right.
I've always wanted to have a crack at it myself, but I also thought it was going to be a fantastic platform to connect with the students and people in NUIG, and even people who listen to it. Like I've always listened to Flirt FM. My brother had a show on it years ago, and it's just tuned into the car. Like, so I would listen to that over other stations. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a little bit of a passion project. My idea with it was obviously to do shameless plugs and plug all our gigs, but to give, like, Derek came on, Emmett's on next. We did Maddie, like, so everyone would get their own artist profile and a mix at the end of it. And talk music and talk their journey into like kind of like what we're doing now, but more in radio format with songs that they like and a mix at the end. So like you can have the mix for something if you want. But I think it's great for reach and promotional use. And yeah, it's a bit of a
Yeah.
selfish fashion product.
He's been absolutely smashing it too. It's great
Yeah.
for us because like it means that our SoundCloud, you know, it has real personality to it. I mean, obviously we've got our mixes and stuff up there, but anyone who is just checking us out,
It's like a true collective as well.
exactly,
For sure,
can
yeah.
immediately tap in
That's
and get a good idea of the various different personalities and what the ethos and energy of the collective is. So it's a great business card to be handed out to
Yeah,
folks.
instead of just seeing like Jude was saying, like the artwork and the community and this and that and that, it's like you hear what I'm like, you hear what Drew is like, you hear what Emmett's like, the lads, but what we're actually like. And you're like, they sound like they're sound pricks like.
We're good on have enough going to their gig.
Yeah.
the buzz.
Stink like, you know.
Yeah.
And I kind of love the old stroke every now and again listening to myself, if I'm being completely honest.
Let's be honest.
Get a buzz from it.
Yeah,
The live aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. How do you see the collective evolving over the next few years? Like, if we were to look back now in a few years, where do you think you'd be?
Ooh.
Oh.
There's a few ways that we're going at the moment, and it's very exciting. So I mean, like they were saying, the mixed meetups were kind of that seems to really be taking shape in terms of like the chapter that we're moving into now, where we can move into like community building, education, passing all these skills now that we've kind of established ourselves. But simultaneously, we seem to be getting a foothold in, you know, in the, let's say the official Galway nightlife scene, you know, in terms of the clubs and having our own residencies and stuff. But then also we seem to be developing a lot in terms of like, well, what are the various different kind of like productions that we want to be making ourselves? You know, we're expanding out our lighting rigs. We're expanding out our own producing capabilities. We want to share our producing capabilities. You know, it does seem to just be blossoming out. And then the other one then is establishing ourselves as an international collective where we're going to be traveling around a lot, where, you know, we're going to be recognized overseas, and people know when they see the Yawlag name, they know what they're going to get. They're going to get a bunch of Galway heads rocking over, delivering a good time, but also kind of like embodying that ethos that we're so passionate about.
Yeah, like and like definitely eyeing up the stage at a festival as well, or like our own open air, like what Jude was saying there, that kind of idea of like being like a Jack Mantle or like a Sir
the Yawlag Horsebox DJ trailer.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's another.
That's the winter project. We're going to get a Horsebox, and we're going to build like a permanent DJ rig in it. And then we're just going to drive that to festivals and park up inside
That's
festivals.
such an idea.
Yeah, and have our own
stage.
stage.
Never
like.
seen that before.
And then we'll pull up down
Transformer.
Salt Hill, so we don't need to like worry about unpacking the gear.
It has to be a horse box too.
Has
It
to
couldn't
be
just
a
be
Yeah,
absolutely.
DJ Horsebox, like.
How are you, DJ Horsebox?
So I think like a lot of that stuff, like we have so many ideas in terms of like the pop-up parties and like just like unique ways of doing things, but at a professional level. So I think that type of thing, marketing wise, will propel us on to another level, because like, yeah, we'll play the clubs and we'll play the festivals, but we'll also play places that like aren't meant to be like party spaces, like, and we'll be cheeky and we'll push the boundaries, like, and we'll use the money that we're taking in from the gigs to do that. Like, everybody wants that to happen. It's not like, oh, Sham, we made €500, let's all take €100 each, and, you know, we're always adding money back into a kitty, and we're like buying merch, we're buying like battery packs, we're buying speakers, lights, everything. So it's like, it's just like the party is just getting better and better, and we're only just beginning, like, and like, so I really do see like I think we're really horny about like the international stuff, as well as the homegrown stuff. But it's like, we want to put Galway on the map. Like, I know everybody wants to put Galway on the map, but like, we want to do that by traveling around and spreading like, this is what an Irish, like, but Galway orientated party is like, you know, and giving that to some, like, even the guys in Rotterdam, we were doing we had our stage inside the venue, and they were like, it was completely different to the hard techno that they were playing, but like the feedback is like, they can't wait to have us back over. They were like, we never heard tunes like that before.
Really?
Wow. You know, they're like, oh, that was amazing. Like, it was so much like the guy that brought helped, like, kind of was our host over there. He was like fuck techno. He's like, I want more of that, like, house and disco. And
Yeah.
fucking
Totally
vibe.
different. It's probably totally different.
Spreading the good word.
For
Yeah,
sure, like,
but
it
they-
was quite heavy, but the contrast was fantastic. I felt.
Amazing, hot and cold right there.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like, if you needed a breather, you could go up, but like the people who were there loved it. Obviously,
Class.
either way.
And eventually we want to establish our own Yawlag label.
Yeah.
You know, so that we can, in making our own sounds and in embodying that vibe, just beam that out to the entire world for all to hear and beyond.
And
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be like an RNA, you know. I'm like, he's good, that's good, this, that, and the other. So I'm gonna try and push for a job in the RNA on the label when
Yeah.
it comes about.
Excellent.
What about like artist management or anything? Would you get into that?
I love that. Like, that's really where I used to do that when I was running my Mitch Presents gigs. Myself, I was a one-man show, did the artwork, wrote the theme tune, sing the theme tune, the whole lot. Like, but the artist liaison was really where I felt I was like in that sweet spot, as well as DJing. But you can almost do that with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
But I loved kind of like the whole song and dance of meeting them, greeting them, bringing them for food, talking, schmoozing, the whole
Business meeting.
yeah,
Yeah.
not like I'll get my people to call your people, like not that kind of shit, but just like actually kind of like kind of breaking them down a little and like seeing them person to person, not like, oh my god, that's like CC Disco or Young Pulse. It's like, no, that's like just he's just from France, like, you know, and
Yeah.
talk to him real to real, because at the end of the day it is all about music, like, you know what I mean. So that's the main thing. Even we had John Daly at our Paddy's Day party, like, and John is like, you know, huge DJ throughout the years, like Panorama Bar, you name it, like, and he was so sound. Like, you would think, well, we all had him kind of, we knew him, of course, he was at Éalú and Electric on Sundays and stuff, but we all kind of had him on a pedestal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I did anyway, because I just love his music. And I text him, like an actual text message, not even a WhatsApp. I was like, you're on Paddy's Day. I am. I was like, sound? And he texts me, he's like, I'm outside. I was like, sound? Went down, he's like, how you know? And then off, and he went up and absolutely made bits of Q about it. Do you know what I mean? So like, that stuff was lovely. And then of course you come across the people that aren't so nice, or might be a little, no, I'm just gonna go back to the hotel. It's like, that's cool, man, you know. But look, it's good to be able to gauge that kind of vibe, and I just love it. I just
You have
love
to be
meeting
good
new
with people
people
for that, for sure.
Huh?
You have to be a people person for that.
Yeah,
Big
but
time.
it's like new ground always, like, you know what I mean? Even with you two lads now, like, you know, like, I met you in Electric briefly, and then I haven't met you before, but like, next time we see each other, like, well, boy,
Yeah, what's the crack
happening?
now,
Do you
boys?
know?
Yeah,
That's
I'll
what it is,
nail
yeah.
it.
Exactly.
We'll be up the
Oh,
front,
really?
like.
Yeah.
Giddy up to
Come on, like.
You're all in the t-shirts.
Serious.
like,
Yeah,
"Come on, the
exactly.
boys."
Serious. 100%.
So, boys, you say like you want to, you know, go abroad and play abroad and stuff like that. Have you touched on Dublin, the Dublin market, or anywhere else in Ireland, or has it just been Galway?
Yeah, we did. We played in the Workman's there a couple of weeks ago. We kind of did the early slot takeover, which is great crack, like a couple of sent over. But before that, we actually did a takeover on Fever FM. It's like an online kind of radio station.
Yeah, it's Dublin's underground
Yes.
music station.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
class. We went up like kind of like lads getting out of a clown car from Galway playing tunes, and we fucking tore it up, to be honest. Like, let's be honest, we did 2 for 2 tunes wise the whole way through, and it was just like one big party. And then we're going to be playing in the Pav in Cork in July as well.
And is your summer fully booked now? You're pretty blocked
Yeah.
out now for
Almost
the summer or what?
down to the minute.
Pretty much.
Is it?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it week in, week out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Between
wow.
our own events, like we're having a Yawlag party next week with Ian Hart, who runs Basement Project, and he's going to be our headliner. We're all going to jump in and play a few tunes. So like we have our Cuba residency once a month, and then we kind of fill everything in around that, and obviously availability and stuff like that. And you know, people
Does
have
the residency help you? Does it help you get gigs, or is that absolutely unnecessary right now?
I think
considering where you're
a
at?
residency is a great way to cultivate and develop
Yeah.
your people and your tribe
Right.
and
Yeah.
your sound. You know,
Yeah.
like because like when you're booked as a guest or a once off, you kind of you gotta really. I mean, you always have to deliver, but that's more of an isolated thing. Whereas your residency, you know, you're building on something. You know, there's a momentum. You know that people are coming in and they're recognizing your sound. And like I feel that a really good local resident in a spot will be able to read that crowd and deliver to them much better perhaps than some, you know, hot shot guest who's flown in and doesn't know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
so, and ideally have a balance of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, yeah, exactly. To Darren's point there, it's just like being able to put a show on every month in the same place, not having to like try and get a new venue, try and get this, new rates, new this, new that. Do they have speakers? Do they have lights? Like, there's a full-on fucking function one up there. Do you know what I mean? And like, where else are you gonna get that without
You love to play in a function one, anyways. That's like the
Well,
trend.
we're used to it at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
stage.
There's no
We're
going back
used to
now.
it.
Yeah, that's all we do.
We've been spoiled.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true. But it does help build the community for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Anything else you want to shout out before we finish up? Any gigs coming up? You mentioned one next week, party next week.
Yeah, so we have a party in Cuba next month or next week. Sorry,
The 10th of May.
the 10th of
10th of
May.
May.
Yeah.
And then we have the one after that is going to be I don't know.
Well, then it's Éalú after that. We're going doing a takeover at Éalú for a couple of hours in one of the stages during the day. So,
Is Éalú a 3-day festival?
yeah,
It is
Friday,
indeed.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday.
Camping.
Yeah, camping.
Nice.
So obviously check out ourselves on Instagram, but also check out Éalú Le Grá on Instagram, and would encourage you to find Yawlag on SoundCloud. 'Cause we're
Yeah,
putting
for
our mixes
sure.
up there
Check
if
us
you
out.
want to
Yeah.
get a sense of our vibe. And yeah, I mean, just keep like we do a lot of pop ups now. You know, like we'll do daytime things around town, and we do our underground raves to keep ourselves in touch with the community. So if anyone really wants to be a part of it, if anyone wants to get involved, I would say find us through the Instagram.
Yeah.
Take it from
Amazing.
there.
And we do the outset market as well. It's important to mention those
Oh, of
guys
course.
because they do a pop-up market every 2 weeks or so, and we supply the tunes for that, and that's been a real kind of another good place for growth and like recognition and marketing.
And what is the outset market? So it's in
so
Galway.
so Outset is an art gallery in the Corn Store,
Okay.
ran by two artists and a guy who owns Framers, and they just are all about it. They're all about supporting local, getting this. So we jumped in, we're like, yeah, we do the first one, and then they're like, right, that's just you doing it now, and it's a real win-win. Like this, you know, it's a real win-win. But I just want to give them a nod because that's another little residency that we have.
For
But
sure.
It's great having so many numbers in the collective. Like they're on 420 just gone. We were in 2 places at once, and then we went on. We did the pop up, and then we played an electric.
Yeah, we
so-
were literally playing all day. I think it was like 2 hours the entire day from 10 to
Mad.
2
Yeah,
that we
2,
weren't
yeah,
playing.
Unbelievable.
So like
Yeah.
we can be in different
Jesus.
places at different times.
Yeah,
which is great, and still show the quality of production like than before. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah, but if people are interested in getting involved and coming to the parties and stuff, like get onto us through the Instagram and get into the community, because that's where everything's going to be going up. Like, you know,
Right.
so you might miss something on Instagram, but all our parties and all our unofficial things, our pop ups and everything, that'll all be on through the community
Through the
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
That's what we want to grow.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and a big shout out to the mixed meetups that are going to be starting here because like that's just going to be a really great way to be a part
100%.
of what we're
I
talking
think that's
about.
great that people know about it now. People who are watching this, because you know, I don't think there's many of them going on where like you have to actually have people coaching you in terms of how to get into DJing and stuff. So that's going to be valuable for so many people.
Yeah.
Thanks a million for having us
Well,
on.
Yeah, lads,
thanks.
thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much,
was
fellas.
Perfect.
Thank you very
yeah.
much.
Genuinely.
Nice one.